In November 2019, a Chinese rocket launched from the Xichang Satellite Launch Center, often abbreviated as XSLC, not Xichang, carrying two navigation satellites into orbit. Unfortunately, after the first stage of the rocket completed its role in the ascent, it fell back to Earth, landing directly on a residential structure. The impact not only caused significant damage to the property but also released hazardous yellow smoke, a byproduct of the rocket's propellant, into the atmosphere. This incident highlights a recurring issue in China, where debris from rocket launches has frequently impacted rural villages and damaged homes due to inadequate debris management practices. However, space debris re-entering Earth's atmosphere is not exclusive to China. It is a global concern. While many spacefaring nations strive to mitigate the risk of debris impacting populated areas, incidents do occur. In 2015, SpaceX released remarkable GoPro footage captured inside one of their rocket fairings during re-entry. At that time, fairings were not designed to be recovered, raising the question of how the footage was retrieved. After the fairing impacted the ocean, it embarked on an unexpected journey. It eventually floated to the shores of Elbow Cay in the Bahamas, where three vacationing businessmen discovered it. Recognizing it as part of a SpaceX rocket, they contacted Elon Musk via Twitter and agreed to return the GoPro and data recorder to SpaceX. In more severe cases, space debris has caused significant environmental and safety concerns. In 1978, a 4-ton Soviet nuclear-powered satellite, Cosmos 954, re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, scattering debris across a wide area in northern Canada. The debris contained approximately 50 kilograms of enriched uranium, some of which emitted dangerous levels of radiation. In response, Canada initiated Operation Warning Light, deploying search teams with aircraft to locate and recover the radioactive fragments. The operation lasted several months and cost approximately $6 million. Canada subsequently billed the Soviet Union for the expenses, though the Soviets only compensated half the cost. This remains the only instance of a country filing a liability claim against another for space debris damage, under the terms of the Convention on International Liability for Damage Caused by Space Objects. The question arises, shouldn't space debris be directed to uninhabited areas, such as the ocean, and who assumes responsibility if it lands on land generally? Space agencies aim to deorbit space hardware over the ocean to minimize risk, but accidents happen. According to international space law, the launching state retains liability for damage caused by its space objects. This framework ensures that affected parties can seek compensation if debris causes damage. Before delving further, let's take a moment to discuss Ground News, the platform that made this video possible. Developed by a former NASA engineer, Ground News offers a unique news aggregation service, compiling articles from over 50,000 sources worldwide, covering a wide spectrum of political viewpoints. One of its standout features is the ability to analyze each news outlet's political bias, allowing users to compare how different sources report on the same event. For instance, when examining articles on Chinese rockets falling back to Earth, users can assess both the factual accuracy and the political slant of various reports. This empowers readers to see beyond sensationalism and gain a clearer understanding of global events. Space debris remains a critical issue, with millions of pieces, ranging from defunct satellites to tiny paint flecks, currently orbiting Earth. These fragments pose a growing threat to both ongoing space missions and life on Earth, underscoring the urgent need for comprehensive debris management and mitigation strategies. Interestingly, there is even a notable amount of urine in space, as astronauts used to discharge it outside their spacecraft before advanced life support systems were capable of recycling it into potable water. However, when considering objects re-entering Earth's atmosphere, our primary concern lies with the larger debris, as smaller pieces typically burn up upon re-entry. To monitor space debris, we rely on the Space Surveillance Network, SSN, which utilizes a global array of ground-based radar systems and optical telescopes to track and catalog objects in Earth's orbit. The SSN currently monitors over 27,000 pieces of debris, each at least the size of a baseball. However, the majority of these objects lack any form of propulsion or control mechanism, making it challenging to predict their re-entry paths and landing sites accurately. Occasionally, debris does reach the ground, as seen a few months ago in Western Australia. A loud explosion was heard, and shortly afterward, a large metal object was discovered embedded in the soil of a local farmer's property. This 30-kilogram fragment was later identified as a component of SpaceX's Dragon capsule. Due to its size and weight, the removal of the debris posed a significant challenge. This raises an important legal question. Who owns the debris at this point? SpaceX or the farmer on whose land it landed? Under the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, SpaceX retains ownership of this debris unless they explicitly disclaim it. Occasionally, space companies prefer to recover and analyze their debris, as it can provide valuable insights into how their spacecraft broke apart and what it experienced during re-entry. In such cases, it becomes the responsibility of the country where the debris lands to collect and return it to the launching entity. However, more often than not, space companies have little interest in reclaiming their debris. In these instances, whoever recovers the debris is typically allowed to keep it. In the case of the Australian farmer, there is potential for a significant financial gain, as pieces of the debris could be sold online. If no one claims the debris, local authorities will manage its disposal and may bill SpaceX for the cleanup costs. However, SpaceX may not necessarily be obligated to pay if the debris is considered abandoned. This situation raises the question: why didn't the debris land in the ocean? Prior to the Dragon capsule's deorbit burn, the trunk section is jettisoned and left in orbit. It remains there until atmospheric drag gradually lowers its altitude, eventually causing it to burn up upon re-entry. In this case, after spending a year in orbit and completing hundreds of revolutions around the Earth, the uncontrolled re-entry made it impossible for astronomers to predict the exact re-entry point. They could only estimate a rough trajectory, and the debris ultimately landed where it did. The increasing number of rocket launches each year has reached an all-time high, but even more staggering is the exponential growth in the number of satellites in orbit. Scientists now estimate there is a 10% probability that a piece of debris could injure someone within the next decade. Amazingly, this has already occurred once before. In 1997, a woman in Oklahoma was struck by a piece of metal that fell from the sky while she was walking in a park. The debris was later identified as part of a Delta II rocket that had re-entered the atmosphere. Fortunately, the fragment was thin and lightweight, and its velocity had significantly decreased before impact, resulting in no serious injury. This remains the only confirmed case of a person being struck by space debris. If you have additional insights on this topic to help us enhance future videos, please share in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel and stay updated on the latest from Universe X. We appreciate every bit of support and look forward to bringing you more quality content.